Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 6 of my WordPress theme tutorial, where I'm going to show you exactly how to make custom WordPress themes from scratch. Actually, in this part, that is exactly what I'm going to do. However, if you did not watch the previous tutorials, you definitely should at the very least watch part 4 and 5, which I provide links to on the screen. And here is the final WordPress theme that I created here. And you're going to learn to do just about anything with WordPress. Based off of a request from Dougie, I changed my menu system so that now it's going to work and allow people to edit their menus using the WordPress menu tool inside of here. And it's going to have drop downs and all the other fancy things. All of this information is going to come directly from what we built in the HTML version of a website. You can see here everything's working all peachy keen. And on the right side of your screen you can also see I have links to the RSS feeds, Twitter, Facebook, did all that. I'm going to show you how to print out abbreviated version of recent posts, and also I'm going to show you how to grab articles from RSS feeds from anywhere and post that information here on your website, and a whole bunch more. But the first thing you're going to have to do, in essence, this theme is 100% from scratch, but I did use this theme right here to start out everything. It's called the Blank Theme by Chris Coyier, and it really is a blank theme. If we actually click on preview here, you'll see this is what the website would look like if it was built totally inside of this theme. There's literally no styling going on. It's a completely stripped theme that only has all the essentials. So what you're going to want to do is go inside of here to Appearance, Themes, and download the blank theme. Then once you do that, you want to go over into your WordPress folders and you want to click on WP Content, and then you want to click on Themes, and this is what the blank theme looks like, and you're going to want to click on that and make a copy of it. Then paste it in here and then give it a new name, which is very important, and I'm going to call this N for new, think, tank, theme, right like that. So it'll be nice and simple, and then you're pretty much all set there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Text Wrangler. This is all the code here on the left side of the screen. This is from what we created previously in the HTML version of this website, and then I'm going to come in here and go File, New, Text Window, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to open up all the different things that I'm going to need from the new blank theme. So I'm going to go Open, and I'm going to locate my WordPress folder, WP Content, Themes, and here is NTTTT. Open that guy up, and then I'm going to open up some of these files, and then we're going to walk step by step through this and make everything. So I'm going to need the functions, the header, index, sidebar, style obviously, and footer. So I want to open all those up and put them over here. Then on the left side of the screen we have the style.css file which we created previously, and on the right side of the screen is the new blank theme style sheet. And if you can't see this, you can definitely watch this in HD full screen. And I was also told by Dougie that a tutorial like this has never been done, where somebody builds a WordPress theme from scratch. A video tutorial, that is. So I'm going to copy the style sheet right here. This is again from the HTML website. I'm going to copy all this and paste in my style sheet. So I just deleted his style sheet, and I'm going to call this theme 2. Alright, so I copied the style sheet over to this guy. Now what I'm going to also want to do is go in and make a couple quick changes. So I'm going to go Functions, and this is in the blank theme, and I can leave everything in here untouched and the same as it is, except if I want to be able to use that custom WordPress nice menu system, I have to come in here and add in one function. And what I'm going to have to do is go if, and I have to call function exists. So I'm checking if the register nav menus function exists, and we do this just in case somebody's using an older version of WordPress and doesn't have this. And if it does, I'm going to go nav, menus, array, and then we just type in main dash menu, and then go main navigation. Okay, so now I have that all set up, and I could actually come in here, file save this. I don't need to edit anything else here on the screen. So since I saved it, I could actually come in here and delete that. So I don't need it. I didn't delete it actually, but I actually moved it away from my text editing tool. Now what am I going to have to change? Well, I'm going to jump over to this guy, and I'm going to jump into my index folder, because we're going to be doing a lot of copying and pasting from the left side of the screen over to the right side of the screen. First thing I'm going to change is the header file, and we can come in here and I can look. Again, this is HTML, and I can look over here on the right and see what I need to change. Well, pretty much all this information is pretty good as we scroll down through here, so I would not change any of this. And this is always going to, for the most part, be exactly the same no matter what theme you're using. However, whenever I get to this part right here, I want to link to my home CSS file that I created. And in this tutorial, I'm going to go through and change a couple things with it. But it's really going to be amazing how little needs to be changed. H reference is equal to Then I'm going to make a special call out to WordPress using PHP. And this is very important. If you want to access the folder that has your CSS code in it, you're going to have to type in blog info and then say template directory, and all this code is available in a link in the underbar in a compressed zip format if you want it. And then close that off, and then you're going to want to go /CSS because that's the folder you want to go after, and home.css, and very soon here you're going to see exactly what's contained in that. Alright, so that's one change that we need to make. Another change we're going to have to make, and this comes from right here, by the way, what I just typed in. Another thing is I have a page wrapper here, and over here I have page wrap. Well, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to call it page wrapper since that's what I called it over on the other side. So we got to change that. I can leave header the same because header's over here, so that's fine. But I want to put my logo inside of the header section, so I'm going to have to make space for that. So I'm just going to go, I'll jump over here. I'll grab this, copy this, paste that code in right there. And there's a couple little changes I need to make. Mainly, I got to call blog info, template data, copy that, jump down here, and it goes image source inside of here. I actually want to put that code. I'm going to grab this whole thing. So right where that dot is, I'm going to paste in that. So now it's going to be able to find my images folder. And then nothing else is going to change. All the rest of this is perfectly fine. Then you can see here I have blog title, key care. Well, to make this work and have my blog title show up, I just got to give it a new ID. So it's going to be ID is equal to blog title, right like that. And nothing else needs to change with this guy. And then I'm going to come down to this part, which is actually going to be my slogan. And I'm going to give myself some room here so you can see this better. And here I'm going to change this to a P, paragraph, because that's what I have it over here. And I'm going to come in and grab this right here. Copy it. So what this is allowing me to do is, while this is going to be static, by going in here and actually grabbing the description, which I have saved inside of WordPress, this can be dynamic, which is a lot nicer. But I'm going to leave everything else exactly the same there. However, I want to put a search form inside of this guy. If you don't remember, I want to put this little search feature over here, which is a nice little feature to have and makes you stand apart from all the other blogs. So I just type in span, and I'm going to type in ID is equal to, and I call this search box, just so I can position it properly. And then if you want to insert a search form somewhere like that, PHP get search form. Close that off. Close off the PHP code, close off the span. And then on top of that, I want to put my featured banner in. So that's going to be the little nurse thing right here. And of course you can change this to any image that you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a nurse to use this theme. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to grab this over there, paste it in, tab that in because I'm a stickler. And then we just have to make a couple little tiny changes with this, being that I'm going to have to go in here and point to the template directory just like I did before. So copy and paste, cover up that little dot, put that in there. Everything else there can be the same. So I'm done with that part. Then what I want to do, because I want to use the new menu system, you're always going to do this in pretty much exactly the same way. I'm going to go WP _ nav menu. Remember we created this in the functions part just previously in functions.php. And then I'm going to say theme _ location, that little equal sign, little arrow. And I'm going to say main menu, and that's the name that I gave it previously, comma, menu _ class. And I'm going to call this drop down. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you just have to remember that you called it drop down because in the CSS code you're going to pay reference to this class. In the container ID, this is just going to be a div that contains your menu. It's going to have an ID or a name of navigation. This really would be easier to learn this stuff if you had this code in front of you, by the way, and it's free, so why not? And then fallback, this is going to be what is called if some problem occurs. Like for example, if they didn't have a fairly recent version of WordPress installed. It's just going to pop up a list of the menus, which is going to be real basic and work on pretty much any version of WordPress. So that's what all that code there means. And there you go. Your header section's done. Now what I should do is jump over here real quick. And I have some images I want to copy. So I have my nurse banner and Facebook and all these logos and all this stuff. So I want to copy that we created previously. Copy images and then jump over into our new theme and then I'm going to delete it and then I'm going to go paste item. So now I got all my images that I need for my whole entire theme. I can close that. And we have the header done. So let's file, save it, jump over here, and then we can get rid of it. We don't need that anymore. And then next, I'm going to open up my index.php file, continue with all this. And I have this menu system over here, which remember we completely scrapped this and threw it away. So I don't even need all of this. So I'm just going to come in here and delete it. I'm going to delete the whole menu system. And if you wanted to see the way this previously was going to be done, you can blame Dougie, because he's the one that said he wanted it to be based off the new featured menu that WordPress offers, which I agreed with him, and that's the reason why I did it. I didn't really do it just for Dougie. Okay, so now we're over here inside of index.php. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make 2 sidebars for this guy. Again, I wanted to make this as different as possible. So if I want to make 2 sidebars, I'm going to say get underscore sidebar, and I'm going to call this first, this, and I'm going to have another sidebar called second. Actually, why don't I just go make those sidebars first? I'm going to scroll down here real quick and delete this get sidebar down here at the bottom of the screen, because I don't need that. And then I'm going to jump over into sidebar itself, and let's fix the sidebars before we even do that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy all this code, copy, and then I'm going to go File, New, Text Document. And whenever you want to create a sidebar, what you have to do, I'm going to paste that in there, and I'm going to jump over here and paste this inside of there. Okay, so I have the same thing that I had in sidebar.php, and I'm going to delete it because I'm not going to use it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename these guys. I'm going to say save as, and I'm going to jump over here into NTT, put sidebar in here, and I'm going to call this sidebar dash first, hit save. And then I'm going to call this one file, save as, sidebar dash second, and hit save. And if we jump back to index here real quick, that's what we're doing here. See, after the dash, that is what you would call if you're creating multiple different sidebars. So that's what's going on with that guy. But either way, let's jump into sidebar first, and let's fix all the code that's inside of here based off of what we have over here as somewhat of a guide. What this guy does here is, if you're used to using WordPress, you understand the concept of the dynamic sidebar, where you can drag different widgets and place them wherever you want them in the sidebar. Well, this is basically saying if the dynamic widget capability is available, then you want people to have the capability to put in whatever widgets that they want. That's what this line of code up here does. Then you have this gets the search form, this code here gets the pages, this gets archives, categories, and all this different stuff. But what I'm going to do with sidebar first is actually delete everything. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab this guy right here, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page. And somebody said to me, what would you do if you don't want the metadata to be showing up in your sidebar? Well, you do exactly what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to delete it. It's all gone. See? Everything's gone now. So now I'm going to show you how to pull recent posts from on your blog and post that information. So all I'm going to do is leave subscribe here, because people always like it whenever there's multiple different ways to subscribe. So what are we going to do? We're going to create ourselves an H2 tag. I decided to use H2 instead of H4 for these titles. And I'm going to call this recent posts. And then I'm going to close off my H2 tag. And then I'm going to go in here and go div. And then I'm going to say I want 3 posts. So I'm going to call query posts. And then all I got to do is say posts per page is equal to 3. Easy enough. So that will get me 3 of my posts returned to me. So I'm going to close off the PHP section. And then what I'm going to do is jump in there and individually grab all of this information. So I'm going to go, while I have posts to display, meaning I haven't gone over my 3 posts that I requested, I want to call the posts function and have it get me all the information that I need. And then if it gives it to me, I gotta go echo, and I'm gonna create links right here. So I'm gonna go hrefs is equal to, like that, and then I'm gonna say permalink, which is the link to the actual post. And then I'm gonna close off that guy right there, and then I'm gonna call for the title of the post, and it's gonna automatically be turned into a link that the person could click on and then be able to actually see the post. And then I'm going to echo. I'm doing this purely so that the code's neat in the HTML. Otherwise, I could have definitely put this right up there next to the link. And you can do whatever you want. And then I want to go call for the excerpt, which is the abbreviated version of the post, and print that to screen. And I want to go echo and close that off. And then I want to call end while to end that while loop. Forgot a quote there. And then whenever you do a query like this, you always want to call a function called WP reset query. And that way, if you run multiple queries on your page, it's going to work and not get messed up. So this will allow you to run multiple different queries all on the same WordPress page and really impress people, because that's what it's all about ultimately. All right, so that's how to pull posts off of your own site, or post 3 of them. Now what I'm going to do is show you how to actually pull posts from another website. So I'm going to just say great articles, and I'm going to go PHP if, and again we're going to check function exists, and it's called fetch feed. Again, it's a more recent function, so we're checking to make sure it works so that it will elegantly not crash if it doesn't exist. Close off that code, and if it does exist, include once. This will allow us to search for the feeds. And you can put anybody's feed on here that you want on your website, as long as they have a feed, obviously. And then we're going to say, okay, well, what feed do I want to pull it from? Well, only the greatest website on the internet will do. So I'm going to call the fetch feed function http://newthinktank.com/feed. You just put the feed in there. And then I'm going to go limit is equal to, and you just go feed, get item. You have to define the quantity of the feeds that you want to bring over to your site. The more the better if you're using this feed, obviously. And then you go and get the items and just put 0 in there and limit that you defined previously. This is getting long. Scroll this up. And then if there are no items, well, you know that something went wrong. So you want to echo out the screen, feed, not available, or whatever you want to put there. So that's if there's nothing came back whenever you requested articles from that feed. Maybe it's been crashed because it's received so much recent traffic. And then we're going to run a for each loop on this guy to get everything that we want. There's just going to be a whole bunch of echo statements. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a div that's going to surround all this stuff. And again, I'm doing this the way that I'm doing it so that the HTML code looks neat. I know I'm doing some things a little bit longer than I need to. And I'm going to do pretty much exactly what I did previously, except with different functions. So I'm going to get the link to the actual article. That's what I got right there. And I'm going to go echo. I'm making a link right here using HTML. That's all I'm doing, not rocket science. So what do I have to do now? Well, inside these A tags, item dash get title, right like that, echo, and then close off the link, and then close off the PHP code. And then I'm going to come in here and create a paragraph, PHP, and I'm going to say echo item dash get content. So that'll be the content that I want to grab from the feed, which is going to be the actual words and stuff. Or I guess I should be more descriptive than that. It's the abbreviated version of the post. Then close off the div, PHP, jump up here, put in that single quote, jump up here, and close off pretty much everything else. And close off that PHP code. So there you are. Now you got your sidebar all fixed, all nice and neat. So that's your first sidebar. So you're actually going to want to come in here for the ID and go first sidebar, right like that. And then you want to file save it. And then you got to create your second sidebar. So come over here and get it. And this one's going to be a lot easier because it's not as fancy. I'm going to come in here right after this commented area, and I'm going to put in the links to my RSS feed, my Twitter account, and my Facebook page. So I'm going to go H2, subscribe, and then I'm going to go unordered list, and I'm going to create a list item. I'm going to go hrefs is equal to, and I'm going to go blog info. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab an image. Remember, I copied and pasted images into this. Well, then I'm going to grab my link to my RSS feed dynamically. So if something changes, it'll automatically still work. Right like that. Doink. And then I'm going to connect this URL to an image. Source is equal to this. Make a call to PHP so that I can actually find my image directory, blog info, and call template directory, and then this will allow me to point directly at my images folder and the image called RSS logo ping, and I'm giving it a height equal to 50 pixels and a width equal to 50 pixels, and then close off that link. And then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this code here because this isn't going to change too dramatically, and I didn't create a new list item. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste this in here and create the closing list item since I just thought of that, and close the unordered list also. Okay, so then I'm going to come in here and the hrefs part, I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to type in twitter.com/newthinktank, right like that. And then I called the image here Twitter logo, and I'm leaving the dimensions the same. Then I'm going to jump up here, paste, and then I'm also going to link to Facebook, even though I hate it. And then this is going to be Facebook logo, and everything else is the same there. And then I already have a search tool, so I don't need that, so I'm just going to delete that out of there. However, I'm going to leave everything else exactly the same, so I can file save this. Now sidebar 2 is done. So let's jump over into index, and I'm going to show you how index works, and then we're going to end this tutorial for today. There's not going to be that many changes in this guy right here. All that I really have to do is to put this main content information inside of here and so forth and so on. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this, right like that. So copy it, jump over here, and right after we created our new sidebars, we're just going to paste that in there. Okay, so that's done. Then what we're going to do is go here where it says if have posts. Right after that, this is what we call the loop inside of WordPress if you've forgotten. And I'm going to create a div, and it's going to have an ID of post lists. This is coming from right here. So we put that inside of there. This right here can stay exactly the way that it is on the screen. This right here is going to have to completely change. Okay, so we're going to go class is equal to, this is called post title, and that's coming from this guy right here. That's where this is going right there. And we can leave this all exactly the same. Yes, perfect. Okay, then we're going to jump down here and change div class entry to post excerpt, and then we can leave, and the reason that's that way is because of this guy right here. See, just change that little bit, leave content exactly the way that it is, don't need to change anything. Well, actually we do. We need to change this from a div into a paragraph. Sorry about that. Now it's perfect. And then all we need to do at this point is close off post lists and close off main content. And we got this guy all done. So just come down here to where it says end while, and since we got space, I'm going to go /div. And it's always nice to put a little comment in here. I'm going to say ends post lists, and then right after end while, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll close off the div and put in a comment. Ends main content. Or actually, I should do this. Main content. So now I know which div lines up with which div. And then nothing else changes here inside of the index file. So we'll file save that. So we got a lot of stuff done in this part of the tutorial. We got the header section done, we got both the sidebars done, and we got index.php done. Oh, what the heck. I'm going to also do the footer just to get that out of the way. Then in the next part of the tutorial, all we're going to be doing is style sheets. So that'll be cool. Alright, so we'll go after footer. And what I want to be able to do here, if we look, is just show automatically, dynamically, a listing of every page that is on my website. I want all those to show up here at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to show you exactly how to be able to do that. So we're going to come up here into the footer section. I'm going to go PHP, obviously, except I don't need two brackets there. Give myself some space. Jump down here, and I'm going to say pages is equal to get pages. Call that function, and guess what that's going to do. It's going to get me some pages. Then I'm going to go for each, and I'm going to say for each pages comes back. I want to create another one called page, object that I can work with here, grab some information from it. And then I'm doing the same sort of thing again, creating a link. So reference is equal to, blank, close that off, and then echo. And I'm going to say get page link, and then you go page ID. That's going to give me the link. This guy right here, that's going to get me the link that's actually going to link to the page. Then I'm going to echo, boink, boink, like that. Echo. Then I want to actually get the title for the page. So all that stuff's going to automatically update every single time I make a new page. Close off the link. And then I'm going to throw in here some spaces. And I'm going to close this off. And I'm going to put in some spaces with break statements so that my copyright information is separated from my other information, which is going to be this, which is going to be the copyright symbol and the year. And that's all that I need to do with that. So we got pretty much everything done, except I need to style all this stuff a little bit more to shape it up. And then after that, I need to style the menu. And then the whole doggone thing is done, and you know how to make WordPress themes. And if I jump over here into WordPress, now this is going to be ugly, and activate this new theme, because remember there is limited styling on this guy. You're going to see exactly what it looks like right now. But I promise after the next tutorial, it's going to look exactly like this. It's going to look beautiful and nice and wonderful, and everybody's going to love me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Otherwise, till next time.